Hello, so today we are going to explain about the visual of service value system and the 7 ITIL guiding principles.
Okay, I'm Fauzan Ali Mahfud, and I'm here to explain a service value system. So, service value system is made up of specific inputs, elements, and outputs relevant to service management. So, the inputs to the service value system are opportunity and demand. The output of service value service value system is value delivered by product and service. Opportunity is refers to option or possibilities to add a value for a stakeholder or otherwise improve the organization. And demand is refers to need or desire for products and service among internal and external consumer. Uh, on service value system, there is a five element which supports the transformation of demand into valuable outcomes are defined as follows. The first is guiding principles. Guiding principle is a combination that can guide an organization in all circumstances, regardless of change in its goals, strategies, or type of work. And the second is governance, the means by which an organization is directed and controlled. And the third is service value chain, a set of interconnection activities that an organization perform to deliver a valuable product. And the fourth is practice, a set of organizational resources designed for performing work or accomplishing an objective. And the last is continual improvement, occurring organizational activity performed at all levels to ensure that an organization perform continually met stakeholder expectation. So the next is about 7 ITIL guiding principle. So this is one of element from service value system. In seven in guiding principle, there's the seven element. There's seven element. First is focus on value. Second is start where you are. The third is progress iteratively with feedback. And the fourth is collaborate and promote visibility. The five is think and work holistically. And six, keep it simple and practical. Seven, optimize and automate. So the next.
So we have focus on value. So when the focusing on value, the step is to know the customers and the key stakeholders we serve. Next is to understand what usage should value from the consumer perspective. Finally, it is critical to understand the customer's experience, service, and organization as through a clear awareness of the customer experience or CX or user experience UX. So there are a few advice in order to apply this principle successfully. There are to know how service customers use each service. The second one is the course of use on value among all staff. Third one is focus on a value during normal operational activity as well as during improvement initiatives. And the last one include focus on a value in every step of any improvement initiative. The next one is start where you are. So what does it mean about start where you are? So it means that you cannot start from scratch and build something new without considering what you already have. It's always better to improve what you currently have than throw it all away and start again. Although you must also be able to recognize when a complete replacement is needed. And there is also some things to understand in order to successfully implement this principle, such as look at what exists as objectively as possible, using the customer or the desired outcome as the starting point. When examples of successful practices or services are found in the first stage, determine if and how these can be replicated or extended upon to achieve the desired state. Apply your risk management skills. And the last one is recognize that sometimes nothing from the first stage can be reused. The third one is progress iteratively with feedback. It means that you can't try to do everything at once. It's much better to organize work into small, manageable sections that can be executed and completed quickly. And to apply this principle successfully, we need to consider some of these advice to comprehend the whole and do something. The ecosystem is constantly changing, so feedback is essential. And, and the last one is fast does not mean incomplete. So the next one is collaborate and promote visibility.
Okay, thank you, Haika Reza. I'm Dafa Jaka and I will explain you about collaborate and promote visibility. The collaborate and promote visibility principle is closely connected to the think and work holistically principle, which we will look at next. For people to collaborate effectively on projects which span many teams, they must all understand the holistic perspective. They must see the bigger picture. When initiatives involve the right people in the right roles, efforts benefit from better acceptance, more relevance, and an increased likelihood of long-term success. Working together in a way that leads to real achievement requires information, understanding, and trust. The first important step is to identify and manage all stakeholder groups associated with the organization. The first group of stakeholders is the customer, because in service management, the main goal of the organization is to facilitate customer outcomes. Other examples are developers working with other internal teams, suppliers collaborating with the organization, relationship managers collaborating with service consumers, consumers collaborating with each other, and lastly, internal and external suppliers collaborating with each other. The next is think and work holistically. Thinking and working holistically means thinking and working across teams, departments, systems, and other boundaries to focus on creating value. The parts need to work together to create a clean flow of value across the value chain. Like collaborate and promote visibility, this is another anti-silo principle. A holistic viewpoint is necessary because nothing happens in isolation. There is always a bigger picture to be seen. The delivery of service requires coordination of activities performed by different teams and automated systems. Thinking and working holistically means thinking and working across teams, departments, systems, and other boundaries to focus on creating value. This holistic perspective is particularly important when change is applied. A minor change to one step in the value stream can have a profound impact on upstream and downstream steps. So changes must be assessed from a worldview perspective. Often, a well-intentioned improvement made by one team in isolation can break a value chain. Working in silos means people often fail to spot opportunities and risks. So to deliver optimal service, it is important to work with the various stakeholders to ensure that everybody is on the same page. The next is
I will explain. Keep it simple and practical. In critical to keeping service management simple and practical is understanding exactly how something contributes to value creation. For example, work involving regulatory complaints may not seem important to service teams dealing with customer issues. It is necessary to establish and communicate a holistic view of organization works so that individual teams or groups can understand how their work is being influenced by and in turn influence others. When designing or managing or operating practice, be mindful of conflicting objective. For example, managers may want a lot of data, but service teams might be constrained in prioritizing the collection of that data. It is important that the organization agrees on a balance between its competing objectives. So, to apply this principle successfully, you must ensure the value of the data. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Do fewer things, but do them better. Or if not, it is a waste. So respect the time of the people involved. Easier to understand, more likely to adopt. So the next is I will explain about next slide please. About optimize and automate. Optimization means to make something as effective and useful as it needs to be. Before an activity can be effectively automated, it should be optimized to whatever degree is possible and reasonable. It is essential to limits are set on optimization of service and practice as they exist within a set of constraints, i.e. financial, compliance, time or resource. There are many ways in which practice and service can be optimized, regardless of the specific techniques or the path, which is understand and agree the context in which the purpose optimization exists. Assess the current state of proposed optimization. Agree what the future state and priorities of the organization should be, focusing on simplification and value and etc. Automation typically refers to the use of the technology to perform a step or series of steps correctly and consistently with limited or no human intervention. In its simplest form, however, automation could also mean to standardization and streamlining of manual tasks, such as defining the rules of part of process to allow decision to make automatically efficient can be greatly increased by reducing the need for human involved to stop and evaluate each part of process. This includes saving the organization costs, reducing human error, and improving employee experience. So, to apply this principle successfully, you must simplify and optimize before automating, and use automation to reduce toil, tasks which are manual, tactical, devoid of enduring value and or linearly scaling. And the last is define your metrics. So that's all from me.
So yeah, that's the presentation. Thank you. And
Okay, that's all for the presentation today. We hope you like our presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.